Today's presentation is about globalization. What is globalization? Globalization is a process of interaction and integration between the people, companies, and governments of different nations. It is a process driven by international trade and investment and aided by information technology. This process has effects on the environment, on culture, on political systems, on economic development and prosperity, and on human physical well-being in societies around the world. Over thousands of years, globalization has contributed to the progress of the world through travel, trade, migration, spread of cultural influences, and distribution of knowledge and understanding. That is, of course, including that of science and technology. For example, at around 1000 AD, global reach of science, technology, and mathematics was changing the nature of the old world. The high technology in the world then included paper, the printing press, the crossbow, gunpowder, the iron chain suspension bridge, the kite, the magnetic compass, the wheelbarrow, and the rotaries fan. A millennium ago, these items were used extensively in China and were particularly unknown elsewhere. Globalization spread them across the world, including Europe. The agents of globalization are neither European nor exclusively Western, nor are they necessarily linked to the Western dominance. Indeed, Europe would have been a lot poorer economically, culturally, and scientifically had it resisted the globalization of mathematics, science, and technology at the time. And today, the same principle applies, though in reverse direction, now from west to east. Globalization refers to in which activities of large number of business enterprises is carried out in many different locations across national boundaries. It is the process where the economies of various countries in the world become more and more connected to one another. Nowadays, people in one country can purchase services from another country through the internet. For example, companies in the USA can hire an accountant from India to do their work, or they could even hire a lawyer or even online auditors. Globalization has granted easier access to goods and services for many companies in the West reaching out to the East. Economists say that the main advantage is that people get more goods and services for a cheaper price. For example, one would rather buy something made in China instead of paying double and triple the price to get it made in America. They see this as an advantage because if China is getting richer, then they will purchase more things from the US, like their computer programs or designer bags.
Globalization is a widely discussed topic. It is therefore not all that easy to explain such a complicated term in simple words. Let's start from the beginning with the background to globalization. Advances in technology, such as mobile phones, aeroplanes, telephones, and the internet, have made the growth of transport and communication networks possible. Amongst other things, this means that people and countries can exchange information and goods more quickly and in a less complicated way. This process is called globalization. Globalization comes from globe and means the worldwide coming together of countries and nations. Let's look at an example. Companies used to manufacture products in their home countries, just like the companies Profi TV and Supercolor, who produce televisions in country A. Their products are in direct competition with each other, but both companies pay the same salaries and production costs. They have the same customers, use similar suppliers, and sell televisions at similar prices. In short, the same conditions apply to both companies. So far, so good. Due to technical, cultural, and economic developments that have come about through globalization, other companies which manufacture products under different conditions can now offer their products in country A too. That's why a company from country B can sell televisions here at a lower price because they were produced for less. The local firms Supercolor and Profi TV have to react to withstand the competition. And so the world grows closer together, and there is an active exchange of goods between countries. More affordable products are available for more people. However, not only does an exchange of products and economic goods take place, but also of services, knowledge, cultural goods, and even languages. All of these individual elements are closely linked and influence each other. But where there is light, there is also shadow. Because of globalization and this intense exchange of goods, people and the environment often suffer. If a company decides to move production to an economically disadvantaged country, people in industrialized countries lose their jobs. At the same time, job opportunities open up to many locals in the economically disadvantaged country. Many people in these countries work for very little money in comparison to those in industrialized countries. Therefore, they often remain poor and more often than not do not have sufficient insurance, social insurance, or health insurance cover. A further disadvantage of globalization is ecological problems such as climate change. The use of aeroplanes, ships, and lorries to transport goods over international borders is constantly on the increase. This causes more carbon dioxide to be released into the atmosphere, which, in turn, is the main cause of global warming. Even national environmental standards are ignored. This is a further cost factor in the worldwide international site competition, which should be kept as low as possible to be attractive for a company. There are therefore many sides to globalization which affect almost all aspects of life, causing me to think that the chain of positive and negative effects will continue to grow further. What's important is to realize that globalization itself is neither good nor bad. It just depends how people deal with all the new possibilities in the future.
Like everything, there are advantages and disadvantages. Globalization increases the gap between the poor and the rich, for example, in income inequalities. Also, countries grow to be dependent on other countries. For example, in the case of war, if a country is benefiting from the West, then they will follow their commands, right or wrong. They become followers. Everyone is power hungry, but only a few can become leaders. Those who are poor or less fortunate have the least say and must become followers. Another disadvantage is cultural convergence. More people are moving towards the Western fashion. This is seen as a disadvantage because not everyone will be able to make the change, and those who can will be left behind. There is a great loss of cultural diversity. People don't want to do things that are different. They will produce and make what they know can sell. With trade in imports and exports, there has been a greater risk of diseases being transported unintentionally between nations. So who does globalization benefit? And that concludes the presentation. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.